So I know what some of you are thinking. Whoa, there's no way Pichu just uploaded a video. But I guess it's time. It's time. I finally did. I did keep saying, guys, just wait. I'm going to upload when the WSS season 3 rolls out. And you guys were like, nah, bro, you're dead. But nah, I'm back. I got revived. So basically, this video is just a draft recap for the season. I'm actually really excited. You know, I'm excited about a league when I actually come back to YouTube for to like start making videos again for it. So that's how you know I'm hyped. Now, yeah, like I said, this video is gonna be chill because this is the first one I've done in a while. So just relax. This is like, it's pretty new to me, like, again, because I haven't done a video in ages. So it's, you know, it's pretty new. Now, I'm just gonna talk about my draft and like how they kind of work together, why I drafted them. I'm not gonna go into too much detail. Like I said, it's gonna be a pretty chill video. Hopefully, you guys can like learn something from this. Either good or bad. You know, if I do bad with this team somehow, then you know not to copy Pichu because I'm trash. But I'm not. I don't see myself as that bad. So hopefully you guys can actually learn something good. So without further ado, let's get into the video. So the first Pokemon I decided to draft was Kyurem Black because I got number 2. I was second pick in the whole draft order, which is crazy. Like, I'm always last. I was pretty astounded when I got second. Now Kyurem Black's pretty I don't know, he's pretty overpowered. I'm not gonna say overpowered because he's not like he sweeps teams, but given the right circumstances, he can definitely wall break certain cores. Like, let's just say there's a team, for example, with Garchomp and Heatran. Like, I'm not saying like I'm gonna bring Kyurem Black, but let's just say, like, hypothetically, if he brings Tank Chomp and Heatran, like, I got Ice Beam and Earth Power. Like, I'm just saying as an example, like, Kyurem Black has coverage to definitely break certain cores. Which is exactly why I drafted him, and he's actually also my Z captain. Now, we chose this after the draft, but I decided Kyurem Black just because Kyurem Black's like with Z captain. The only problem I have with Kyurem Black is that he doesn't have good stab on the physical side. Like, on the physical side, he doesn't have a good he doesn't have a nice type attack except Free Shock, which is trash, and he has Dragon Claw, which is alright, but nothing too good, and Outrage, which like half the time I don't want to lock myself into that. It's a pretty trash move this gen with all the fairy types. So having the Z captain, like being able to use Z Outrage or Z Free Shock, is definitely going to be like so good. So this is why I drafted Kyurem Black. So next up, I couldn't believe, right, I was gonna draft Mega Man Netric as a Mega and a fast electric type to pair with Kyurem Black. But my boy Zapdos was free. Now, like, Zapdos walls half the metagame. Like, I'm not even joking when I say that. It actually walls most physical, like, amazing physical threats. Like, let's just say there's a annoying fighting type on the opposing team, which, like, Kyurem can't deal with. But Zapdos can pretty much deal with most fighting types. If it's Fizz Def. Like, even Stone Edge won't Oko Zapdos. Like, even like, let's say Hitmonlee, for example. I obviously I draft Hitmonlee, as you'll see, but like hypothetically, Stone Edge from Hitmonlee, I don't think even hardly dents Zapdos. Like, Zapdos is so bulky, and definitely is a reliable defogger and volt switcher. Like, because if I run Scarf Kyurem, for example, I need to be able to safely like a slow volt switch into that. So like, and Zapdos can do that perfectly. And Zapdos is one of the only defoggers in the game, or probably one of the only defoggers in the game, who can actually come in on rocks because it's weak to rocks and still get off a defog and like survive. So like, obviously you have like Crobat, but the problem, like, Crobat can come in on rocks, defog, but it'll most likely die. It's not bulky enough to really take a hit defogging, when Zapdos can actually like come in. I guess you got like Mandibuzz as well who can do it, but Zapdos is probably my favorite because he's so bulky, can slow volt switch and defog, and has such good coverage as well, like Heat Wave, Extra Sentry, yeah, volt switch, Thunderbolt, and even if I want to run, what was the other one? Like HP Ice, that obviously has got hidden powers to like be annoying. So that's Zapdos. Now the third mon I drafted was Dugtrio. Now Dugtrio, my boy, is tier 3. Now I don't know why. Like, I feel like Dugtrio, especially in the current meta, like, he's so good, and being tier 3, like, all the tier 3 mons are like semi trash. I'm not saying like all of them are trash, but there's a lot of tier 3 that are definitely trash. And when I just see like an amazing one like Dugtrio next to the trash, I'm obviously going to pick Dugtrio every time. every time. So like I have Dugtree on like 3 different leagues right now. Like obviously they're not I'm not recording those, but I do have Dugtree in those, and it just performs each week. Like it gets a kill each week. Like if there's a mon that's low, come in with Dougie, just finish it off, too easy. They can't really do much about it. And the best thing about, and also another good thing about Dugtree is that it can force items even if you don't even bring Dugtree. Like I've seen teams who bring Shed Shell and things, and I don't even bring Dugtree, so they just wasted their item slot. So it's definitely a good mod that can pressure teams even if it doesn't even come to the games. Like it just like it makes them like run like Shed Shell, and if you don't even bring Dugtree, then that's just like, it's just really helps your team with the an item advantage. Oh, so for the mega slot, I decided to draft Mega Diancie. Now Mega Diancie is amazing. Like that's just all I gotta say about it. It's just amazing because it's got amazing physical and fairy stab. I mean, that doesn't make sense. It's got amazing physical and special attack, was what I was meant to say. So its Diamond Storm can actually bust through things, as well as like I can run Moonblast, Earth Power, and Diamond Storm, and all 3 of the moves can bust through just as good as each other. And especially because the buff this gen with Diamond Storm, so I think it's 50% now. Yeah, 50%. Oh, it was always 50%, but it does ×2, which means I think you can live a Sizzle Bullet Punch, if I'm not mistaken. It was definitely a bullet punch from something I calculated, if I can remember. So like if I get those crucial +2s at certain moments, it can definitely come in clutch. Nothing else I gotta say. Also, it's got magic bounce, which just helps my rock weakness. You can also like I guess if you look at the top, you can see like the first half of the draft. I'm going by halves here. So the first half, I'm definitely rock weak. Like I got KB, Zapdos, and Volcarona, which are definitely weak to rocks. And even I don't want to waste Sash on Dougie by rocks, so I want to get rid of those rocks or even prevent those rocks. So the magic bounce can come in clutch if I get some right predictions there. So that's all I gotta say about Diancie, and we'll move on. 8. So next one we have is our Volcarona. So I needed a fire type at this point. Q Black struggles to fight some fire types. Basically, some steel types I need to get rid of is Celesteela. Can't really deal with that too well. Like I've got a Zapdos, but if I'm using it defensively, it can't actually break Celesteela that well. That's just one example. And even some like Bronzongs and stuff, where like you just like in Ferrothorn, like those 2 you can't really break with Q and Black. I mean, I could run like Z Focus Blast, which it's just, I mean, like I could, but it's just a thing like I don't want to do. So I want a fire type that can just bust through them, and I definitely like Volcarona can just come in on them and just set up if it wants to. So that's basically Volcarona. Like there's nothing much to say about it. It just sets up and wins. I know like most of the time you go, oh, but you can't just set up and then win. But Volcarona just sets up and wins. Like let's be real. If you see a Volcarona come in on the field, you're either killing it and then you win the game, or it sets up and it wins the game. Like it's basically that kind of mon. So I needed a fire type that can just win the game, and that's why I drafted Volcarona. So for the last mon for the half, before I get some water and have a break, I drafted a water type myself, Toxapex. So Toxapex pretty much, it's tier 2. Now I don't know, Toxapex is a weird mon where it's a pretty trash tier 1. Like it's a trash tier 1, but it's an amazing tier 2 pick. And it was still on the board, and Suicune, I think at this point, I'm not sure, but I think it got drafted. So I was like, bro, I need my Toxapex because I need a mon that can just absorb hits from, what was the type I need to absorb hits from? I think fire at this point. I didn't really have much of an answer. Like, yeah, I don't have a switch into a fire type, which is why I needed a water type. So Toxapex I think pairs extremely well with Zapdos and Q and Black, because Q and Black, you know, weak to fighting, can switch in Toxapex no problem. It's also weak to Fairy, boom, Toxapex. And there was one other thing, I think Steel. Yeah, Steel types in general just bust through my team, so I needed a good switch in for that. And Toxapex pretty much handles everything, like as a switch in, handles everything Q and Black is weak to, so it's a pretty perfect synergy mon for Q and Black. Not to mention it has Toxic Spike, so if I run a more bulky team and just like pressure them with Toxic Spikes, I can do that. And it's also a good regenerator mon to just it will help with like late game and stuff. So like if I need a crucial like if I can keep mons and then get health, like just sack them later for Toxapex or regenerate. I feel like people underestimate Regenerator in draft leagues. Now, I know a lot of people overhype them, so it's a weird balance, but there have been a lot of games where people think they've won, but then they don't account for, like, the enemies have sacks and then, like, a Tangrowth, and for example, and they'll send in Tangrowth, then sack, and then send in again, and sack another mon, and all of a sudden you thought you could, like, bust through, but now they've got a Tangrowth at, like, full health. It's situations like that where I think Regenerator is a bit, underestimated. So I feel like grabbing a good Regenerator mon is definitely crucial, and one that is such a perfect synergy mon, like I said, just definitely helps with the team. So that's the first half of the draft, and I'll be back with the second half. Alright, we're back, and for the next mon we have our boy, the one, the only, Speed Up. Now, Speed Up, if you don't remember, is probably one of my favorite mons of all time. Now, why? Is because he was I keep saying actual, sorry Seiko. He was actually one of the Nuzlocke mons in the Ruby randomizer. that is potentially not a dead series. Potentially. Be quiet, Harrow. Now, Speed Up was one of my favorite mons, and I'm glad that I could actually draft him. Because he has two amazing roles that he fulfills. One being an amazing, I don't want to say amazing a lot, but my whole draft is amazing, so sorry if I keep repeating it, but he's has amazing physical wall breaking skills, as well as rapid spin, which is two roles I needed. So boom, here he's on our team. Now you know it's over because pretty much I could run Unburdened, sweep your team, like being fast. I could run Reckless, which wall breaks, which is probably one of the best wall breaking abilities, to be honest. And I'm not gonna run Limber, it's trash. But those two abilities definitely can sweep teams in a different way, so it's pretty hard to prepare for. And if you're not ready, Speed Up will come at you, claim your life. So hopefully Speed Up can get a sweep, at least one sweep. If he gets one sweep, I'll be happy. So let's see if he can, but we'll see. So next up, we have Mushana. The reason why I drafted Mushana is because I needed a good tier 5. And it was legit the only thing. The rest were trash. So I needed a good psychic type. And I know that Mushana can actually do so much work if you don't prepare for it. And because my whole draft are just ones you have to prepare for, you might not have room to prepare for Mushana, so it can come through. We'll see. It's a good cleric. It's also got some good utility moves like Baton Pass, Healing Wish, Shield Bell. So hopefully I can get some use it at least a few times. I'm not sure if I will. I'm not sure if there's really room to bring it over some other threats, but we'll just see. We'll see how good it does. Next up, we have Gorgai Super. Now I actually thought it was tier 5, and I drafted it, and I didn't realize it was tier 4. But I don't really care, because Gorgeist is still pretty amazing. It's got you already know, it's got like Will-O-Wisp, Shadow Sneak with priority, Trick, Synthesis. You can even run like subsets. It's even got Destiny Bond if I want to troll, disable. It's got a bunch of different moves. It's a good mon. You know, Gorgeist. We can move on. So next up we have Big Fed, the fat ass himself, Snorlax. Now you already know, Daddy. Nah, don't take this too seriously. You're lucky you're even this big, to be honest. You should be a smaller Pokemon. But we got Big Fed. Big Fed is definitely can sweep teams. Now I know you might go, but Snorlax can't sweep teams. Yes, Snorlax can sweep teams. Curslax is a thing that is so amazing in Draft League, because you need to prepare for Snorlax. If you don't run something like Raw, if you don't run like a amazing fighting Stabmon that can bust through normal types, you're gonna have problems with Snorlax, because Snorlax, once it starts setting up curses and stuff, it's too hard to kill. It's too hard to kill. Especially with the Gluttony boost this gen, so I can do some berry strats. I'm really keen to see how this works. So next up, for our last one of the draft, are you guys ready? We have Solid Snake. Now, I needed some more stealth hazard like setters, especially Stealth Rock. So I decided to get Steelix. That's literally the only reason I drafted him. And yeah, pretty much that's it. And for a little bit of defense, he's got some good moves, but mainly for the Stealth Rock. So that pretty much wraps up the second half of the draft. Now, looking at it as a whole, you can see here, I think it's a pretty good draft, to be honest. There's I don't know. I feel like there's some things that definitely destroy my draft. I don't want to mention them because if I mention them, you know, I could be helping some people build against me. So I'm not going to mention them. But I feel like overall my draft is pretty good. So many threats you have to prepare for. So hopefully hopefully it confuses my opponent enough that they just can't bring some stuff sometimes, and then I find those weaknesses and punish them. So it's basically my draft. Hopefully you guys enjoyed the video. I'd like to say a quick shout out to Math because he's been a great host so far. His stream was amazing, and like all the work he's done so far and all the effort, it's just been great. And yeah, hopefully like he keeps it up because it's been amazing and I really appreciate it. So that's about it for the video. Like I said, it was just chill, and I guess that, yeah, I gotta just leave. So I'll be back and I'll see you guys later. Bye.